We're taking precautions and being professional and everything, which, you know, I was all about that. But then it arrived to me in a literal tissue box wrapped in toilet paper. So that was a little bit strange, and the plant was, to put it kindly, not happy, and I had to do a lot of work to bring it back to life to get to this point. I would love to get a bigger Hoya polyneura. I thought I just saw spider mites, we're fine. Wasn't spider mites. But anyway, I'd love to get a bigger one, but you know, this is what we're working with right now. So before I blabber on too much, let's go to the next plant. Okay, since we're talking Hoyas, let's talk about this Hoya Chelsea. This was actually gifted to me. Bless you, Leo. This was gifted to me by Adam. And actually, I have another plant that was gifted to me by Adam because he has lots of little Hoyas, and he gave this one to me. It recently fell out of the pot, so we could see the root system if we want. The root system looks pretty good. I need to repot it so that it has soil again, but it looks really nice. And in my care, it's put out this, and then it just kind of stopped growing. But it looks like that little spike might be something eventually. I don't know. In my experience, Hoyas kind of grow slow, but it's just because I don't have them in the most optimal environment. I do know that when they are in the most optimal environment, they grow like crazy. So I think it's definitely just me not taking the time right now to put them in that space because, you know, I just moved. Like, okay, I guess it's been like 6 months, but I'm still trying to think of the best situations for all of my plants, and I haven't fully reached that solution yet, but I am going to be getting a greenhouse like I've talked about so much. So I feel like when I have that, it will be a little bit better. But in any case, I've been trying to get an IKEA greenhouse cabinet for a long time, and it's been sold out basically since I started looking. And I've also looked at the alternatives. There's an alternative that starts with an R. Can't find that one either. So anyway, I just need to take the time to sit down and like put another plant hospital together so that my plants can start to grow again and get big. But you know, for now they're kind of just like sitting steady, not really changing, just, you know, hanging in there. So anyway, that's that one. All right, my next tiny plant is this Monstera siltificana. This was sent to me by my friend Cody, and honestly, I don't know if it's gonna make it. It hasn't put out a new leaf in a long time. This was a plant that was doing so well in my greenhouse plant hospital, and then all of a sudden it just took a turn, and I have no idea why. It was not a pest. It was not change in environment, nothing. I have no idea why I did that. Oh, Leo. Leo's been doing this thing where he like nudges me so that I have to pet him. You are so needy. He's so needy. He's so cute. Oh my gosh, he is so cute. I love him. Hi, Koopy. Okay, little dog break. Comment down below, do you let your dogs lick your face? If you don't, I don't trust you. Just have to say that. Anyway, so this plant, I don't know what's gonna happen with it. I mean, it stayed pretty steady with these 2 leaves. It is thirsty right now, so don't come for me, but honestly, it stayed pretty steady as this. I don't know what's gonna happen. I really don't. I think it needs mega humidity, but this plant is like pretty finicky for a lot of people, I've heard. So I've really like gone through the ringer with this guy. I've brought it back to life, and then it went into this, and then it just kind of is unchanging, but that's okay. It's pretty as of right now, and I think when it's in a different, better hospital situation, it will be much happier. But anyway, I have a tiny saucer. This is basically a jar lid, and it fits on the bottom of this pot perfectly. This is from Front Range Clay. I'll link them down below if you're interested. I love their pots. Let's talk about today's sponsor, which is Audible. Audible is your go-to place to access thousands of titles and spoken word entertainment. With Audible Plus, you can access even more audiobooks, exclusive podcasts, and other Audible originals. You can download and stream to your heart's content through the Audible app or even through your Alexa. Something that I really love audiobooks for is to read nonfiction books or the classics. For me, sometimes the classics are really hard to read because I read pretty much all of the classics in college, and reading them now kind of feels like an assignment, but when I listen to them, it is so much better. One of my favorite authors in college was John Steinbeck, because I love travel fiction. So I recently found Travels with Charlie, and I've been listening to that pretty much before bed just to relax. And then another book that my mom actually recommended to me that I'm currently sampling is Educated, and that is by Tara Westover. Hopefully I said that correctly. But in any case, I really love it to read those types of books because I tend to get a little bit lost when I read them out of a book, and it's just a lot easier just to listen to them because it sort of feels more like a podcast. Whether you want to listen to nonfiction, fiction, memoirs, podcasts, meditations, whatever it may be, comedy skits, Audible definitely has it all. If you would like to check out a 30-day trial of Audible, you can head over to audible.com/delaplants or text Delaplants to 500-500 to access your 30-day free trial. All right, let's get back to the video. Okay, next plant. Which one should we do? We'll do this one, just to break up the little Hoyas. Okay, so this is a Monstera melanochrysum. It looks terrible. But this is the very tip of one of my plants before I completely turned it into a wet stick operation, which is doing really well, by the way. I rooted it in water and it rooted really well. And then I moved it over to moss in an attempt to give it a middle ground before it went to soil. Because yeah, I just figured that would be smart. But it is putting out this new leaf, which looks like it's going to be like the biggest leaf out of all of the ones it's put out. Can you see it kind of tangled up right there? But yeah, it hasn't put out anything like super remarkable. This was the last leaf that it put out while it was still attached to the big plant. And then in water, it put out this tiny leaf. That's not in focus at all. There we go, this tiny leaf, and then now it's putting out this situation. So anyway, I'm kind of keeping this as an experiment. I'm really just like holding on to it. I'm not spending a lot of time or effort trying to get it to work, but I mean, this looks tragic, honestly. This is one of those things that I'm like, this plant is cursed. It looks really ugly. But yeah, that's just that. And you know what? I think that we need to normalize YouTubers and Instagrammers and just people, anyone, not even people on the internet. We need to normalize having plants like this and like not being judged for it, because not that the majority of you do this. It's definitely not the majority of people. It's a very small amount of people. But sometimes I'll get comments that are like, you know, if your plant looks like that, how can you even give advice? Or, you know, this video is just you complaining about how blah, blah, you know, whatever. And shut up, you know? Not to be too sassy, but like, honestly, shut up, because like, are all of your plants perfect? And do you have the courage to share stuff like this? Like, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that literally every single one of your plants was perfect and you've never killed anything before. Like, you're lying to yourself and you look mean. So I don't know, you're not really helping anybody out by being a jerk to someone who's like sharing their vulnerable plants online. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that you look any cooler for doing that. But anyway, again, that is like the very, very small margin of people that follow me. Like people, and I doubt it's even people that follow me. I bet they just like popped into that one video. But anyway, was that it? Oh, no, one last plant. Okay, this is a Hoya retusa. And honestly, I think that it's looked like this since I got it from Adam. So maybe I need to get some tips because it hasn't grown at all. But this is a Hoya retusa. Oh wait, actually, no, it has grown. Okay, the growth on these is so baby. It's right here. Can you see that? It's so little. Okay, so we do have something going on. But in any case, it hasn't looked very different at all since I got it, which is something that I notice about little plants. Like, little plants are not well established usually. They're usually fresh cuttings, so they don't have a lot of emphasis and history behind them to get them going. Whereas a plant like this massive one I'm definitely going to be talking about, she's got like years of experience. She knows how to grow. These guys are just learning. So that's kind of what I tell myself. Like, if you buy a really tiny plant, it's probably going to be small for a while, and then it just kind of goes and it blows up. So I did fertilize it, so maybe that's why we've got this growth point coming in right here, but it's very cute. When these are actually big full plants, they look like grass kind of, and I'm not sure if I like them when they're like really, really big. Like they just look kind of funny to me. But anyway, I love this one. I think it's so cute. Okay, now we have the task of looking at my big plants. Let's just start with this plant because this plant is definitely my biggest plant. I don't know if any of you have ever seen like the full extent of it. This leaf is the size of my forearm. It is so big. So this is a Monstera adansonii. A lot of people have tried to tell me that it's something else, like a different type of Monstera, and I have to disagree with you.